Hi, I'm back from Rocket Man Mototech Cairns. We're here today, we're going to do the reflash on the Gen 1 Rocket 3 Touring, as we discussed in our previous videos. We were going to put the Dave Platts exhausts up first, but they're sitting in a customs house in Sydney waiting clearance, so I thought, well, there's no real reason why we can't do the reflash in the meantime and get it out of the way. The bike won't be going anywhere until the exhaust is back on it, so I thought I'd take you through the process of doing this reflash on the bike. The similarities between the two bikes are almost identical. The Gen 2 and the Gen 1 is the same process, except for with the Gen 1 we're using a manual link, and with the Gen 2 we're using our USB link that we discussed before. So just to be clear here, on this video here, I'm not going through what we're doing with programming the new map. That's another discipline altogether. With the Gen 2s, people that are looking to unrestrict their Gen 2s, there's some very, very good videos on YouTube there that show you how to change that ETV3 table. I suggest you have a look at them. From that point, we have modified our mapping from that baseline to include air-fuel ratio changes, which I don't recommend you get into unless you've really got your head around what's happening. There's plenty of other mod maps out there that have got good references. We're happy to share our mapping with you, but for tonight we're not going to get into the actual modifications of the maps, just merely how to flash the new map into the bike. So I'll get Kerry to come off and then come back and we'll have a look at how we set the bike up.
Just before you go, so the difference between the Gen 1
yes.
and the Gen 2
yes.
is the Gen 1 is done with
a manual link through our table link into our tablet.
Yeah.
And the Gen 2 uses the USB link. Now we did see that in that previous video that I showed us.
Yeah.
There is a video there for both Gen 1 and Gen 2, how we actually connect to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, let's actually physically put this bike up to the Tune ECU software. Now, as I said before, we're going to use a tablet. We can use a phone. I use a tablet solely because it gives me a bigger display and it's easier for me to use and see what's going on.
And this is the one you can't use Apple on, it's got to be Android.
No, you can't use Apple on these because Apple don't approve the software link to the phone. I did do a bit of research for somebody made a comment there asking why they couldn't use their Apple tablets to access Tune ECU, and the feedback that I got from Tune ECU was that they don't support the Apple because of financial reasons. There's some deal they've got to do, but regardless, it's Android only. Previously I believed you could use a PC link with them, but I do believe that that is now stopped as well and it's Android connection only. So first things first, we're going to physically connect our OBD link to our OBD harness on the bike, which is positioned next to the battery there. We're going to pull him out, and it's as simple as just join him in together there. Okay, you see we've got power going to it there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to lift the fuse holder. Okay, so once we've got our OBD link plugged in, we've got our tablet turned on, we're coming to Tune ECU on our tablet. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the fuse, the 15 amp fuse here that controls our lights, our headlights, because we're going to need this bike to be under power when we reflash for up to half an hour, so we don't want the drain bringing the battery down flat and then causing the whole thing to crash. We are running LED lights on this bike, but still we don't want the drain on it. It's currently got 1.5 amp triple charge fixed to it. I'm now going to come over the top of that again and put another 1.5 amp charger over the top of it. So I've got 3 amps of charge going into this bike,
Why is that?
so that the ECU does not run flat when we're working and then delete all our information mid upgrade. Okay. So that is fairly important. You can see we've got a charger banging power into it there. We've got another one over the side, got 3 amps of power going into the battery. We've got our headlights pulled and we're just about ready to connect.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got our battery chargers on it. We've got ourselves plugged into the tablet. We're in through the OBD link. I'm going to switch the bike on. Fuel pump coming there. ECU. Connect. Connecting to the Trine. We've got a red light down here. Green light. We are now connected to the ECU. Okay. Before we do anything with this bike, we're going to go to Maps, Informations. This is the current map that is in this bike at the moment, 20368. It's got an aftermarket silencer on it. I was aware because I just put that into there. Back to Maps, compare informations, configure informations. That's telling us what map is currently on the bike. Edit. Alright, we don't want to do any of that, we want to come out of there. Okay, so what I've done is I've done a read of this map previously, and then what I have done is I have saved that map in my parent directory here as 20368 Space Shuttle original map. Before we do anything with the bikes, before we remap to our new maps, save the original map that you've got on the bike into your directory, so that should anything go wrong, we can come back to where we were at the start. Okay, that's important. Now that process takes about half an hour to read the map, and then you save the map. It's all fairly self-explanatory. You go to map, read map. It's not coming up here because I've just done it, but it's fairly simple there, and then save it so we know that we've got it there.
If you have any trouble, you can comment and you can
Any trouble,
talk
comment,
through
we'll
it
talk
anyway.
you through it.
Yeah.
So let's have what we can do is we can compare with whatever other maps we've got in our catalogue here. You can see we've got quite a few maps that we're frigging around with here for this bike. The map that we're going to put into this, that we've worked with all of our fuel ratios and everything to go into it, is we're going to use this bear with me 1 second. This Bat-tuned Decat Ram Air. Okay, so this is for the day plate exhaust with the Ram Air on it. This is one that we've done. So we bring it up here, and this allows us to compare the standard map that's in the bike now with the Bat-tune that's there. Where there's white, there's variation. So if we hold there, we can see where we've changed specs between the two maps. That's our throttle position changes there, which are highlighted. And go up to our next thing, hold it down. We can see our throttle position changes we've made in our map. Once again, we can see our changes up to the next table, our air pressures. We can see significant change we've made to that there. Once again, I'm not going to get into the mapping. This is a totally different discipline. This is solely how we reflash the bikes tonight. Once again, a fairly big variation between the standard and the map that we're going to put into it. Once again, under air pressures there. Throttle positions, we've done a bit of work there to have the bike a bit more smoother and how we want it set up. Same with the secondary there. Probably most important that we'll see here is that with the standard map, this is the second set of butterflies that I think I discussed before when we put the RAM air intake system into it. I said that there was 2 sets of butterflies that sit over the top of the main ones, and we could either pull them out or we could adjust them with the ECU to actuate at 100%. When they're at 100%, they're going to take away that environmental restriction that is restricting the bike, much like the Gen 2 is restricted on your ETV 3 tables. With the Rocket 3 Gen 1, it's been restricted with the secondary butterflies. Now, some people just remove those butterflies altogether. I did say that we were in 2 minds as to whether we were going to control them with the ECU, which I've decided to do. And if we look at this map now and compare it with our new map, you can see we're down to, you know, there's 21%, 28%, 20% actuation of those secondary butterflies there. But with our map we're putting into it, we've just made the whole thing 100%. So we're in effect, we are via the computer turning our butterflies to 100%. I'd rather leave the butterflies in there than to pluck them out. And that also allows me, if I want to come back later and put a little bit of restriction on the secondary butterflies down low, I might find it might make the bike a little bit more smoother in the lower gears and traffic and everything. Getting the bike fine-tuned to ride in traffic's what I'm trying to achieve here. So by keeping those butterflies in the bike and then allowing me to play further in the future if I need to with them is probably a good idea.
Very.
So that's where my head's at. I'm not saying anything about the people that do remove them altogether, but for me personally, that's where I think we're going to go with this bike. Okay.
Well, we do
now,
too.
It may change. We may find in the future it's a fucking nightmare, and we'll just, if that's the case, then we'll just pull them out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But anyway, for the time being, let's have a go at letting the computer do it, and that way we can adjust them. So we're in there. We can see the map that's in there now. So what we want to do now is we're going to open the map that we wish to put into this bike, which is the bat-tuned decatted RAM air install. We're going to open it up. So it's opened up there now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to ECU. We're going to reprogram. Now we're getting into the serious part of this. We hit reprogram. Remove the headlight fuse and connect the battery charger. Okay, well we've already done that, so we're going to do that now. Okay. Warning, incorrect values can damage the engine. Confirm to reprogram the ECU. This warning's there for place. Once you do this under your own initiative. You are going to void your warranty or whatever. This is why I say it's so important that you save your original map so that if worst comes to worst, we can go back to where we were in the past. Do not reprogram any of these bikes unless you have a copy of your original map that was on that bike. I can't stress that enough. Make sure that you have your original map saved in your folder.
Warranties are all voided and everything.
All void. You're coming into your own world here. So we accept that responsibility. Okay, so we've just pressed OK. Reprogramming in process, and it's telling us how progression. This will probably take, I'm not so sure, probably maybe 10 minutes or so. It took about 27 minutes to read that original map. To reprogram a Gen 2 takes 16 minutes. This will be a bit quicker because the map that we're coming over the top of, we're only reflashing over the top of it our changes. As you can see, we're already at 50% there. We might be able to watch all this in one time without killing the video.
It's fast, isn't it?
It's going well, yeah. Okay, so we're reprogramming the ECU to have the bat tune in it. Here we go. 100%.
That's the
Download
sound.
done. Now we hit OK. Turn ignition off. Up to the screen again, Kez. Turn ignition off, disconnect the battery charger, replace the fuse, then turn ignition on and start the motor. We're going to acknowledge that.
Okay.
But as I say that, I want you to come in here and just have a look at something I'm going to do before I do that. I'm going to go to ECU. A mistake. I'm going to come out into ECU tests and adjustments. Just bear with me one sec. Reset engine adaptations. Okay, so I went to my adjustments page on the ECU by swiping left right. I'm going to hit reset engine adaptations, run. And we just heard the ECU give a little splash then. Reset engine adaptations are done. We're going to acknowledge that. Okay, now we're going to switch the bike off.
Disconnect battery.
Well, we're going to leave them connected. That's neither here nor there. Switch the bike back on again. We'll find neutral for it.
You don't have to put the fuse back in?
No, not yet. Just let me get to the gears.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in neutral there. We've done our remap. We're just going to spark it up without any throttle. You cut that last bit.
Yep, go.
Okay, so we've put our lighting fuse into it. We've reprogrammed the ECU. Excuse me. We've reset engine adaptations. So now we're going to start the bike. Much like what we did when we did Billy's Rocket the other day, and I will be doing this again once the exhausts go back on this with the Dave Platts. I'm going to do a 10-minute interpretive ECU flash up here. So we're just going to let this bike run for 12 minutes without any throttle, and then we're going to switch it off and then start it up again and just make sure. Then we'll go through the ECU, on-tune ECU, and just make sure that we haven't got any error codes, anything like that. I'll get Kerry to come off the video. We'll get the bike interpretively tuned up, and then we'll come back and check our error codes and make sure that we're all good.
Okay.
Okay, so we brought the bike up. We've got the ECU connected in real time. You can see that we've got our live readings, our live gauges going there. Got our revs, got our temp, got our map. These are all chosen by what I've selected through the tables and all that sort of shit there before. Okay, so it's telling us that we've got a 2036 map in there, which is the one that we just put into it, which is all good. that's definitely going to make a difference. By the time we get those day flat straight throughs on there without the cats in there, we've already put the ram air on there, we've just put the proper tune there that we've worked on. We're looking at 150 horsepower, 160 horsepower machine. We'll probably take it down the dyno in the next month, actually put it on the dyno, we'll grab a video of that, but I'm fairly confident that's where we're going to be, and I think it's make it a nice bike. So that's how you do your reflash. I hope that helps you. Once again, any problems, just pop them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them. Do go to those videos in regards to doing the Gen 2 ETV 3 tables. Now when you do your ETV 3 tables, as he shows you on the video, ensure that you transfer those parameters to every gear. I think on this video he fails to show you to do that, but you are prompted to do that. Make sure that it's consistent across first, second, third, and then fourth, fifth, sixth is included in one parameter there. Alright, hope you enjoyed that. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Woohoo!
See you next one.
Bye.